Hi students, we are in week 5 in our second theme, and when you open this up it looks pretty boring. Sorry about that. Click on the little arrow. You'll see some content here. This is really an overview of what's to come and what you ought to do. So here's just a straight up PDF of our story with page numbers. Okay, kind of scanned in there. And this was called The Rocking Horse Winter. It's by a very well-known author, D.H. Lawrence, about 100 years ago. Okay, still we're looking for timeless truths. This one, the study guide, has the text in it, but it also has some additional information that I think is really helpful. It's also a little more colorful, but it has some questions just for thought. We're not nothing about this specific PDF is required, but it gives you some background about the author. And let me tell you, when you're trying to figure out what a story means, knowing something about the author, when they wrote, what their background is, what they typically write about is a big clue, very big clue. And then you get into, they talk about theme, and there it is. One question that you can ponder in relationship to the story and our theme is, can money buy happiness? And that's something to ponder and think about for yourself, what your answer would be. But what, after reading the story, do you think D.H. Lawrence's answer to that question is? He has a message, an underlying message about life or human nature, and in this case, has a lot to do with money um, in the story, as opposed to identity. There's not so much of this as a new theme. Okay, now sometimes there's overlap, but this one has clearly got a also talks about luck, and a little bit of kind of their dreams, what the family has got a family context, what their dreams were, whether they're able to reach them or not. You know, maybe happiness is reaching your dreams, and when you can't, and you got to have money to do it. You know, that's a thing, right? So after a little bit of background, you have a version of the story here that if you use, make sure you use those page numbers when you cite it. Okay, it has some definitions here on the side. Some other words that go along with the study related to money, the idea of greed, materialism, when you love stuff that money buys too much. There's also some background here that's historical that helps us too, because this is set in England around the 1920s, prior to the Great Depression, but there's a lot of craziness, people trying to make a lot of money at one time very quickly, and they're where the original big horse races come from. If you know anything about it, we have some in America. Most of them are, not all of them are in Kentucky. We even had in Birmingham here a racetrack for horses back in the day. Greyhound racing is more popular, but we did have horses for a while. That was the big thing. That's what you bet on. Even Queen Elizabeth II, you know, God rest her soul, she had horses that ran in the derbies and the race horses. She was very much into horses. That was her thing. And that is a context here. And so they mentioned some, uh, the Derby, the St. Leger, the Grand National, and so forth. People uh, bet a lot. If you could just switch a few things, you could drop this storyline right into your town, Alabama or wherever. It may just not be horse racing. It may be something else that people in your community like to bet on or do to get quick money fast, right? And it needs luck to get it. So we have families are families, and they have issues, and this family has issues that are not uncommon today, and but they just the luck story is in the context of a horse race, but we could choose just about anything you could bet on. It could be sports or anything, and it would be just like it was here in Birmingham, Alabama. I don't know if the play audio works in the PDF or not, but this just has some nice visuals as well. Paragraphs are numbered. You've got the little side notes to help you with that. So that's why that's there, and a little bit of introduction to that. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of work through this. I think I've got time to do that and let you read the story. I'm going to do a little bit. I don't want to give all the story away, so let me still preview. So there's more about it there in the study guide, but D.H. Lawrence, he's a novelist. This is a short story. His birth and death, his lifetime was 1885 to 1930. So here we are in 2023, about 100 years ago. And there's a comment about it. His collected works represent, among other things, an extended reflection upon the dehumanizing effects of modernity and industrialization. Really, we could translate that and say the emphasis on materialism, on getting mass production of goods, making money as quickly as possible, and how that takes away from our humanity. Are we exempt today, 100 years later? Are we doing any better? No, I don't think so. There are people maybe trying, but it is still somewhat of a sickness of society. It's not limited to England or to America, but we definitely struggle with it. The story was published July 1926, and again, and I mentioned horse racing already. You're going to be introduced in what's called the exposition, if you remember from conflict analysis, the plot lines, how that you have the background. So pay attention to the background. I don't want to preview all that and tell you that I want you to read the story, come back later, and I'll have more of an extended uh, review of the story, analyzing it after you've read it and figure out, what's going on. I hope you find it as captivating as many of my students have, and I have over the years.